Hey, what's going on today, guys? It's Trey. Welcome back to the channel. Today, we're going to be trying out the Elijah Craig Small Batch. Now, this bottle is near and dear to my heart. This is the very first bourbon that I ever tried. And unfortunately, this bourbon also put me in the hospital. So, I have quite the love-hate relationship with this bourbon, but it's a good one. So I want to try it again and let you guys know what I think of it. All right, so real quick, let me tell you guys about the hospital story because I can't drop a bomb like that and then just leave you guys on a cliff. So basically, like I said, this bottle literally put me in the hospital, and I'm not joking when I say that. So my wife and I went out one night. We're having a good time. This is when we lived in Hawaii, by the way. So we live in Germany now, but we were living in Hawaii at the time. This bottle literally put me in the hospital for like 2 weeks. And I had surgery as well. So this bottle for me is a pretty crazy one, but basically we went out one night. I didn't really drink too much while my wife and I were out, but this really was the final nail in the coffin for me. And so I had about 3 full Glencairns of this, and yeah, it didn't go too well. So I fell asleep. I woke up at like 3 a.m. and I was in like immense pain. I thought that my appendix had exploded. That's what I really thought the issue was. But it turns out that it was something a whole lot worse. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm like being emotional or anything like that, but I'm telling you guys because I want this to also be a transparent channel. So ended up spending like a full week in the hospital. I ended up getting diagnosed with this disease called sphincter of Oddi dysfunction. And so what they basically had to do is they did something called an endoscopy, which is where they stick this really long tube down your throat and see what's going on in your stomach and digestive tract. And so they ended up finding out that I had some major issues going on down there. They ended up having to permanently cut open my sphincter of Oddi. No, they didn't cut my butthole open. I don't want you guys to think that. But there's like this tiny tube in your digestive system that basically lets bile and other juices and gunk out of your body. It's like a filter in hindsight, but they permanently cut mine open because I couldn't eat anything, I couldn't drink anything, and it just was making life horrible for me. And it just turns out that this made it a whole lot worse. I feel better now. I'm totally allowed to drink. My doctor has given me the seal of approval to drink. So I don't want you guys to think that I'm doing something that I'm not supposed to be doing. You know, this was a couple of years ago and I'm doing a lot better now, but it's still a disease that I live with. And there was a point in time where I couldn't drink alcohol at all, but now I'm allowed to. And so, yeah, that's the special story that I have with this bourbon. So let's not waste any more time. Everybody's got a story. Let's go ahead and get into the actual bourbon. Elijah Craig, great Kentucky distillery, Bardstown, Kentucky, 94 proof, just really great juice in a bottle that I love so much. Like I said, the 94 proof, it's really drinkable. I think this is a great introduction to bourbon for a lot of people. And I haven't had this bottle. I haven't had a Glencairn of Elijah Craig in a few months. So I'm really excited to crack it back open and see what it's like. So without wasting any more time, let's go ahead and give this stuff a try. Ooh, good pop. Ooh, yeah. All right, guys, so right out the gate, beautiful presentation, beautiful color, copper, amber. It looks like Minute Maid apple juice. It looks incredible. All right, let's go ahead and get into the aroma. Oh, yeah, man. I'm getting like sweet apple juice, caramel, vanilla, oak. Oh man, if they made a candle of this, I'd probably make the company sell out immediately because this is what bourbon should smell like. So I think that's one characteristic that I can always remember about this bourbon is like as soon as you go up to sip it, it just smells so damn good. All right, let's go ahead and get into the taste. Prost. Man, oh my gosh. I don't know how to say it because I'm about to have some tears popping up just from, the memories that I've had with this bourbon, but this is just such an amazingly decadent, rich, bourbon. And I think rich is the best descriptor for it. It's just so sweet. It's got the tiniest bit of heat to it. You know, for me, I'm a 100 proof and over guy, but this is just such a great presentation. It's got like the best amount of vanilla oak sweetness with a tiny bit of spice at the end. I'm not really too sure what the mash bill is of this bourbon, but I do get like the tiniest bit of spice on the finish. But on the tip of my tongue, I just get like, I don't know if you guys can hear, I'm like salivating like crazy from the sweetness. But it is such a rich, decadent, indulgent bourbon, and I love it. It's amazing. All right, guys, it's that time. Let's go ahead and polish her off. Oh yeah, got a little bit more heat on that one. I don't know if it's just because it was more bourbon, but yeah, that's good. That's a good one, guys. That's a good one. All right, guys, let's go ahead and talk about the Elijah Craig Small Batch. I am gonna rank this at an 8.8 out of 10. Only reason why I'm not giving it a 9 is because for me personally, I like a little bit more bite on my bourbons. I love my, over 100 proof bombs, and that's no knock against this bourbon because you can put this bourbon up against anything out there, anything more expensive. And I think that it'll hold its weight. And I think I paid about $32 on base for this bottle. So super cheap. I personally would never mix this bourbon. I think it's a great daily sipper. But I think if you were in a situation where you needed a mixer, sure, you could use this, whatever. I'm not gonna take you to the gallows, but I think this is a great daily sipper. So yeah, guys, Elijah Craig Small Batch, there's not much to be said about it. It's a great company. The barrel proof is great. The toasted barrel is great. These are bottles that I'm gonna be hunting for. We're heading to Chicago in a week. And I'm definitely going to be looking for the toasted barrel and, the barrel proof. I've heard a lot of great stuff about both. And so I'm definitely going to try to get my hands on both of those. But yeah, the small batch is just so good. It's just, and still like my mouth is just continuing to salivate from the sweetness. It's like grandma's sugar cookies. It's so good. And, I've got the story to go along with it. And I'm sure you guys have some stories as well. I think the great thing about bourbon is I've had some amazing memories and moments with bourbon. And, while this memory wasn't the best, I'm still alive to be able to tell the story. And so I think that this one will always be on my bar. Not because of the story, not because, almost losing my life, not because all the surgeries, not because the $150,000 hospital bill, but it'll always be on my bar because it is a great bourbon. And so, you know me, I'm sure you guys can tell by now, I'm a guy that appreciates his bourbon. And yeah, so I think this one deserves the grade that it got. It could easily be an A. I think this could easily be an A+ in a lot of people's mine. But yeah, it's so dang good. So as always, if you guys did appreciate this video, please give it a huge thumbs up as it does help your humble narrator so much. I love bourbon. Like I say always, I'm just a guy that loves his bourbon. I do happen to live here in Germany, a place where bourbon's not too highly sought after, but that's good for guys like me because that means that we can fill up our bar, means we can fill up our cabinets, and we can get a great deal on some amazing bourbon. I think I was so terrified of moving here to Germany from Hawaii because Hawaii, believe it or not, has an amazing selection of bourbon. The prices are pretty high. You're almost paying secondary for a lot of bottles, but at the end of the day, I got a chance to drink a lot of bourbon while I was there. But now I'm able to drink it in Germany. Amazon can literally ship bourbon to my front door in a day for free. And I got, Blanton's, I got whatever I want. And so I love bourbon. Like I said, I've got about 50 bottles in my collection that I'll be drinking. I've got whiskey, I've got bourbon, I've got rum, I've got tequila, I've got cognac, I've got wine, I've got everything over here. So yeah, please consider subscribing to the channel. As always, thank you guys for the continued love and support. Thank you. Mahalo for watching.